All right, everybody. Happy Tuesday, September 17th, 2024. Welcome. You are here for Finding Your Why, Navigating Jobs, Careers, and Life's Purpose. My name is Albert of Albert's List. I'm here to host this webinar today, and with us today is our co-host and main presenter, Lizelle Mendoza, founder and CEO of the Mentoring Club. For many of you, whether you're looking for a job in one already or somewhere in between, finding your why is a very important thing that you're probably likely thinking about. Lizelle has thought about this a lot and has come here today with a presentation to help guide you through one of life's most pressing questions, why? So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to her. And prior to doing that, I'm also going to say, please use the Q&A if you have any questions. And this is being recorded so that you can watch it later and it'll be available on our YouTube channel. All right, Lizelle, thank you for joining us today. And we're so looking forward to everything that you have to share.
Thank you very much, Albert, for that introduction. And hello to everyone. It's probably good afternoon, good evening, or even good morning for those who are in Europe joining us. So so for this afternoon's or for today's presentation, I would like to make sure that everybody is on the same page in terms of what is my basis for sharing all the information that I have for you today. My basis is really experiential. It is, this is the summary of what I have observed, what I have experienced, and some of it, what I've read. You're probably seeing there are a lot of books behind me. I've read and listened to a number of books, but I won't be quoting books in this presentation. The way that I learn mostly is really um, by absorbing the knowledge that was shared in the books, and then realizing as I go through life where those principles, where those lessons learned from the authors actually apply in my life. So finding your why is a very important journey. I would say it's a journey because we want to know what our life is all about, not just in terms of what we do, but in terms of what we care about and what our values are actually directing us to do in our lives. And so the learning objectives that I have for this session are three. The first one is after this session, I'm hoping that most of you would realize what you are after. Is it a job, career, or your life's purpose? And then number two, reflect on the strategies and tactics for each of the goal. If you're looking for a job, I will share with you some of the strategies that I know of, have observed, and have experienced in life when looking for a job. If you're looking to grow your career, I've also experienced and observed, that pattern. And I've also gone through uh, going through reflecting and introspecting about life's purpose. I'll share with you some of the strategies and tactics that I've summarized based on my life journey. And then number three is to commit to act and go after what you want. Hopefully, those will be some of the things that you can take away from this session. And if there are others towards the end, I'd be happy to hear of your thoughts. So, but first, I'd like to greet you with a really um, welcoming, fun group of people. We had a workshop at one of our supporters and workshop facilitators' house uh, past few months, and this is just a way for you to get familiar with some of the community members that we have in the mentoring club. So welcome to this session. So the first point that I'd like to for you to think about is know what you want and go for it. Have you ever thought about that? And for you to start thinking about it, we have this first poll that Albert will help me launch. Uh, And I just want to get a feel from you. There are 40 of you right now in the session. What are you going after? Is it a job? Is it career or your life's purpose? Okay, I think we can wait until we hit something like 80%. We are at 73%, 75, and then 80. Okay, great. So we have 27% job, 30% career, and 44% life's purpose. So I will go ahead and end the poll. So thank you for that. That's very interesting. So a lot of you are really looking for what is meaningful for you, and then um, so let's dig deeper into how you're going to find your why. So when going for a job, this is what I have observed. What we do is we leverage our knowledge, skills, and experience to gain one, more knowledge about ourselves, because when we do our work, we find out what we enjoy more doing, and we see where we're contributing. And then we gain more knowledge, skills, and experience by dealing with others, by working on the technical things, whether it's a technical development job or it's an administrative job or it's a business strategy type of a job. We get to learn from other people, and a job helps us experience that and helps us develop more of the skills within us. Another thing to gain is confidence, because you're able to deliver the things that are expected of you, and you're able to exercise your muscles and whatever those skills are to get the right things done. Then you feel more confident about your ability to do certain things. You feel more attached or driven towards a certain direction versus what you originally thought that you would want to do. And then if you're just starting a job, or if you're fresh from school, then it is a job is a way to start building your wealth. But if you're already in the latter part of your career, this could be income would be a reason to gain income, would be a reason to sustain your needs on an ongoing basis. So let me give you an example here, based on my own experience. So when I first graduated from my college degree, I graduated BS Mathematics, and my first job was as an actuarial assistant slash programmer. So at that time, the computers in the Philippines were just being introduced. I studied BASIC as a computer programming language, and I liked it. So I said, I'm going to go for programming. And it so happened that an insurance company is looking for um, somebody to understand how they're calculating the insurance costings and then be able to automate that process. And so um, I had those two career tracks that I could possibly take, right? So one is actuarial science, becoming a chief actuarist, and one is programming. And so I thought to myself, okay, what does it take to do both, both those tracks? And so when I was evaluating the actuarial path, I needed to take several levels of exams to get certified to become eventually a chief actuarist. So that is the career that's heading to. And then I realized, oh, the first level of exam was heavy on calculus, and I didn't really enjoy calculus when I was in college. Even though I graduated with honors, I really had a hard time, completing my calculus. I did a good grade, but it wasn't something that I enjoyed. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to focus on programming. So that is where, a concrete example coming from my own experience, where it is a job. I had to start with a job because I didn't know what I really want. I just knew that I enjoyed those subjects. And then when you're going for a career, so when you're going for a career, you're leveraging your knowledge, skills, experience, and network to gain, number one, opportunities to focus on work that you enjoy, because now you're more involved in the work. You understand what it takes, and you understand which pieces of the work you really enjoy the most. And then you're also getting recognized for the work that you do, the great work that you're doing, and your expertise is being developed and being recognized as well. And then you get to understand, what matters to you most. And that confidence of saying, this is the track that I'm going to take versus this track, is about developing your ideal work scenario, and that could lead into career. And then income, of course, to gain income, to continue building your wealth, and then more in-depth knowledge about yourself. So throughout that process, you're getting to know yourself better. You gain, self-awareness. Um, if you're because you're not just doing a job that is routine. You're trying to build a career that will allow you to enjoy that path, and gain recognition. So in this particular case, my personal example will be I decided to go programming. And so when an opportunity for a systems analyst role came in front of me, then I went for it. I applied, I got it. Another opportunity opened up, and as an MIS manager, I applied, I got it. And then eventually that also allowed me to understand that I would like to understand how to run businesses more. So I took my MBA degree. And then eventually I was working in government, and eventually I thought, oh, I want a more high-tech focus. And so I went to the private sector and I joined Unisys Corporation as a project manager initially. And then after a couple of years, I moved into program management, which has more to do with selling. So I developed the technical expertise to understand what the solutions are, and because of the track record I have of the work that I did in delivering successful projects, then I was considered for a pre-sales role so that I can communicate better with the clients what the solutions are. So that becomes the program management role. So that becomes the career. And then eventually, the first time I traveled to the US, I said, okay, Silicon Valley is my next career challenge. So eventually, I was able to land a job in Silicon Valley as business development manager. So that still aligns with the career track because it's still sales, right? Sales, account management, client relationship management. And then eventually, because of my concern for the organization, I contributed value to the profitability of the company, and through by introducing certain processes and systems to make sure that the consulting projects are profitable. And so eventually I became the chief operating officer of the company. So that would be on the career example side of things. So for now, I hope you're thinking about your journey as well as I share mine. Uh, where where have you been? Where are you seeing yourself going? And that's actually the third point here, going for life's purpose. So for purpose, we are leveraging our knowledge, skills, experience, network, and wisdom to gain clarity on our life's purpose and legacy. What do we want to leave behind? What do we want to contribute to the bigger world? This is not just about all of us gaining, building wealth, but it's about thinking about what can I leave behind, and what can I give back. So you also, for you to be able to be successful, you have to all be able to gain influence on others, so that they can embrace your legacy as part of their legacy too, because you can't do it alone. You can't push forward with your purpose on your own. You have to have other support as well. So you're looking for people with similar values, with similar mission-driven approach to life, and giving back approach, for you to be able to realize whatever that purpose is that you have determined for yourself. And it allows you to gain a platform to make a difference in the world, a way to share your wealth because you've built up your wealth for so many years. And if you realize that there's a really an area that you feel very strongly about, where you would like to make a difference, then you will invest your money or give your money to that cause. And then eventually you gain self-actualization, fulfillment, and joy as you see the results of the things that you have invested. And I underline wisdom here because really, um, it would take some reflection of what it is that you enjoyed in your years of being in the workplace, to be able to determine this. So again, I go to my example about my own journey. So after sharing with you, the various career roles that I was fortunate to have and was able to, be on track on the areas that I wanted to make a difference from a work career standpoint. There came a time where, after I was recognized for my contribution at the consulting company and I was made chief operating officer, and I was also made part owner at the same time, I thought, I've been so blessed, and I wanted to do something that is give. And I didn't know what it was. So I had to do some couple of years of introspection and reflection about, what did I really enjoy the most when I was navigating through my career. And what I realized were two things. The first one was that I really enjoyed developing people ever since I became a manager at 24 years old. And I enjoyed training them on the technical aspects of the work. But I found myself also sharing my values with them, like commitment. If you promise somebody something, make sure you do it on time with good quality. If you can't, make sure the other person knows and renegotiate. So little things like those, and I realized as I saw them mature and become respectable professionals, then I felt good that I was part of that process. So by giving myself the time to reflect, connect the dots, what did I enjoy the most in those like almost 30 years of work behind me? That was the first, that was the thing that really came up. And then the second thing that came up for me during those 2 years of introspection was I was attending events. I listened to questions during the Q&A sessions. And the questions that really struck me were, how do I find a mentor? Is my manager my mentor? How do I ask somebody to become my mentor? So I thought to myself, I didn't have those questions. I knew what I wanted. I went for it. But if people need help, maybe I can help because of my systems development background and because of becoming an accidental entrepreneur where I have to be responsible for visioning and strategies for the company. Then maybe I could do a platform-based approach to mentoring. It's going to be global. It's going to be around leadership development, where, we're just encouraging people to know what they want and go for it. And that was what led me to the creation of the mentoring club. So and now, I must say, and I am happy to say, that I've gotten to that stage of pursuing my life's purpose as I understand it. So this is a chart, or a guide to different life journeys. And the basis, or the basic foundation is to um, understand, or reflect on the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And so our life journeys are different. Our life journeys are unique. And I'll show you three examples where um, it, the period, the length of time, or the areas of fulfillment that these journeys are showing could be different in terms of duration. It's different for everybody. So for this first example, the job part is longer, and then there's career, and then after realizing that what you enjoy in your career, you already know what your life purpose is. So these are just indicators. And the next question is, what is your journey like? Where are you at in your journey? Are you looking for a job? Are you looking to establish a career? Are you looking for your life's purpose? Um, some examples of life journeys. So this one is even abbreviated. This is an example of the journey of one of our mentees. So after graduation, she took a job at one of the top consulting companies here in the Valley as an auditor. She realized that it wasn't for her. She didn't like the work pattern, and so she quit without any backup jobs because she wanted to understand herself. And that was when she joined the mentoring club. And in our conversations, she realized that she really has the passion for helping people with, especially children with disabilities. And so she decided that she wants to become a behavioral therapist. But of course, there is the question about, well, how do you support yourself while you're transitioning from a business job to becoming a behavioral therapist? You need a job. And so the question was, would it be a job that's related to business, accounting, or would it be a job that's already aligned with the behavioral therapist line of work? And so she decided that she would do some kind of an interning about um, on the direction that she's heading, right? So which is the behavioral therapy. And at the same time, she recognized in herself that she has this passion for designing clothing and footwear, so fashion. And so she said she wanted to become an entrepreneur that produces um, clothing and footwear initially for people with disabilities. So it's still aligned with that purpose of serving a specific demographic. And then eventually, so she did all of that. Eventually, she was able to get a full-time job as a behavioral therapist. We connected her with a marketing mentor so that she can evaluate her values, so that her company would represent her values, and the messaging will be towards sustainable production of clothing and fashion wear for people with disabilities. And now she is actually doing her master's in speech therapy. So I would say that, the career and life purpose there were combined in the same period. So now here's another example of mentee in the mentoring club where the job part was longer, or the job period was longer. You can see the different roles that he took. And there's no specific direction in terms of career expertise. But eventually, when he retired in the military, he decided somebody actually told him that he would be great as a manager, as a project manager. And so connected with one of our mentors in the mentoring club, and they looked at the opportunities that are available out there in the market, and then he decided which ones to chase, and he got some coaching around the interviewing process and eventually was able to get a job as an operations consultant. Eventually, he became, I think that was like on contract, and then he became a full-time employee. And within the same company, became the manager of manufacturing, and now he's the product manager. So that is another real life example that I have seen. And then this is my example, which I've already shared with you. So you can see the differences in life journeys that each of one has. So if you look at famous people's life journeys, and you don't have to answer me, and I am not gonna say I am an expert in the lives of these people, but these are people that are recognizable, depending on where you're coming from. Think about their life's journeys. What is it about their life's journey that make them be known the way that they are? Um, so let me pause there for a few seconds to give you some time to reflect. And now this is the next poll. Albert, if I could get your help. So do you have a 30-second elevator pitch? Okay, we'll go for 80%. Okay, another 3%. Okay, we're at 80 and I'll end the poll. So it looks like the majority are still working on your elevator pitch, and then 22% none yet, and those that you have already, 30%. Okay, great. Oh, let me share the results. Sorry, I didn't realize I wasn't sharing it. Okay. And so let's see what it would take um, to develop your elevator. So this and the next one is what does so for you to be able to develop your elevator pitch, you have to understand first and be sure about um, first what you want, and then what does it take to know what you want. And based on my experience, the answer to that is self-awareness. It's probably an obvious answer for some of you, probably not for some. But knowing ourselves is the best way to know what we want in life. And so if you look at, if you recall those examples and those steps that I mentioned in going for a job, going for a career, going for life's purpose, it's all about you putting yourself in those situations and what do you know about yourself that makes you feel comfortable to be in those situations or to be in those paths? Um, so I will share with you a summary of what I have reflected on about myself. This is by no means my elevator pitch because it really depends on who I am talking to, what I think they would benefit from in terms of information about what I do, about what I can do to help them. But this is a summary of just years and years of self-reflection. So what I realized first and foremost is that I'm constantly striving to be a good human being. And I think I take that from my mom. To her, nobody is a bad person. So I'm constantly striving to be good. And from a career standpoint, I found myself to be enjoying whenever there is problem to be solved. I would be the one to be looking at it. Okay, what does it take to solve this? What are the options? What are the possible paths? Who can help us with this? So it's like somebody who's organizing, somebody who's being analytical and looking at different options. And by profession, I'm an information technologist, and so I look for ways to help from a career standpoint. I look for ways to help our clients make sure that their business problems are being solved with the right information technology solutions. It's not just about selling something, but it's about making sure that we're able to help the client solve their problems. And with that, I also um, uh, derived that I'm a caring employee, and that's why when I joined the company here, I was thinking, okay, I'm bringing in the revenues. How do we know that we are profitable? And so I had to inject those systems and processes to make sure that the company is able to sustain itself and profitable. And when I became an entrepreneur, I found myself to be responsible when it comes to visioning and when it comes to treating our people, our consultants, fairly. Um, and, and so those are some of the realizations that I have found out about myself. And now that I'm giving back, I think being philanthropic is really born out of, love, however corny that sounds. Uh, or touchy-feely, but really, it's all about loving humanity in a sense, because what I'm contributing is towards helping people achieve their life goals by becoming the leaders that they aspire to be. And of course, our roots have something to do with who we are. So I am Filipino American, so I'd like to recognize that. My upbringing was Filipino and I was able to adapt to the American culture. But deep inside, there is that root that we have to consider. So that is my self-awareness sharing with you. Um, and so now let's talk about strategies and tactics, because this will help you also develop your elevator pitches. What are the strategies if you are going after a job? So these are some of the strategies that I have summarized here. There could be more. So spread far and wide. You play the numbers game. You've heard this before. Like this, when you see a LinkedIn notification about a job, just go ahead and send your generic resume, which is optimized for the ATS tracking system. So that could be one strategy, and these are the tactics that you could employ. A targeted list. If you know what industry you would like to see yourself contributing, whether it's sustainability, it's health, it's high tech, it's hospitality, or retail, manufacturing, whatever those considerations are, you can also zero in on specific companies because you've researched that those companies' values resonate with you, or if you have connections in specific areas that you're interested in, whether they're companies or specific departments that you would like to join. Uh, and if you're early in your career, internship could be another way to strategize your entry into a company. When you have your internship, the strategy is make sure you excel and that you could be, the people that you work with would be happy to hire you. And you can also volunteer. You can add value and be valued for your expertise. If you are already an experienced professional in the field and you're in between jobs, volunteering could be another way to look at how you can add value to an organization. And mostly volunteers are mostly for nonprofit organizations, and then you can be recognized for your expertise, and you could even get some reference or referrals from your coworkers or the executive team of the organization. You could also do part-time gigs. generate income. Because the strategy was really you have to generate income, then you have to make sure that you're able to sustain those engagements and deliver the quality and the value that you promise to those engagements. And this for this particular strategy, the tactic is really, when you have a job, you can choose what you would like, and then you can tap into your interests and hobbies as well. So we're going to go into the third ball, which is related to this. Again, this is me trying to understand where you are at. If you are looking to go after a job, then what is your top strategy to go after a job? Okay, so we are at 58%. And it's 65%. So I'm seeing a lot of people doing targeted list. So you know specifically what you want to target. And then spread far and wide is coming in second. And then part-time gig is coming in volunteering. So there's no internship. So I would guess the audience would be composed more of mid-career and maybe advanced career people, or some people who have already like several years of experience in the workforce. Okay. So let me, I'm going to end at 78%, because probably not everybody is really looking for a job. So I'll end the poll and share the results with you. Okay. So what is now the strategy for career? So since I'm guessing some of you are mid-career and some of you are, late career, advanced career, um, you may have already observed this, and so let me know towards the Q&A session if you need me to clarify any further. So the vertical strategy is you climb up the ladder. So you start from, it could be as a programmer or a developer, and then you become a lead developer, and then you become a technical architect, and then you become a director, a manager, a director, and so on, and eventually maybe a vice president. Or if you're in the entrepreneurial mindset, you after a certain point in developing your career, you want to do your own business or your own startup. But it's all about vertical. It's just one track. You're trying to climb up the ladder. Now the horizontal is about moving laterally to diversify your experience. And you can imagine somebody from sales operations wanting to go into marketing, and then from marketing wanting to go into actual sales. And then eventually operations. And so that allows you a varied view of the organization. It could be in one company or it could be in different companies, but you're giving yourself that opportunity to understand how does the organization work. In some cases, even people from accounting become CEOs of companies because they navigated through those different areas within the organization. And then zigzag is combination of horizontal and vertical, I would say, because here you could be switching roles, and also switching industries. So you're from high tech, you could be going into healthcare. So and it could be the same role, right? It could be the same role um, for some time, and then you would like to switch to another role for another time. And so, oops, um, I'm sorry. I think let me just close that. I just saw the call from the previous question show up. Um, and so that is another way to think about your career. You're exploring different roles and you're exploring different industries. And then as an expert, you are recognized for your craft. You're a master, you have mastery of your craft. And really, the tactic here is make sure you deepen your knowledge and hone your skills in that one specific aspect. So the person that comes to mind here when I was writing this was Johnny Ive, right? So UI UX, he has been depended upon at Apple to create new products, and so he has mastery of that craft. Um, Gig economy, be a trusted consultant. So this is also similar to the part-time gig that we mentioned earlier. But the difference is that the part-time gig could be about hobbies and interests. But when you're looking at careers, this could be a specific area of expertise that you really want to be in. And at the same time, you own your work by choosing the projects that you care to work on. So with that, we will again launch the next ball just to have you give you some time for reflection. Okay, I'm seeing horizontal and expert being equal as well as zigzag. Um, and then gig economy is coming in second after those three. Mm, a lot of vertical. Okay, all right. We are at 63% and horizontal looks like what's coming out ahead. And so let me go ahead and run the poll. Okay, and I'll share the results. So horizontal, move laterally and diversify. So there's an interest in doing different roles and then zigzag. Right. So a lot of people I've been hearing from our mentees and our mentors as well, that with the drive towards sustainability, eh, um, yeah, the ESG initiative. A lot of people from tech are going towards opportunities that promotes a sustainable future. So thank you for sharing. And so now for the third aspect, life's purpose. What are the strategies? And again, these strategies are some of the strategies that I have observed personally. So the first strategy is discernment, introspect and reflect about what brings you joy. I mentioned this earlier. I connected the dots. What made me feel fulfilled during those decades of career life. And then also by talking to people about what they see in me or what they know of me. Um, and then just reflecting. The next strategy that I am sharing here is join or start, right? So meaning look for organizations that are already going towards that mission, that purpose that you have identified to be something that you care about, or you build from the ground. And Again, this is another thing that I did because when I decided that, a global mentoring platform would be a good opportunity to help people who are struggling and are looking for guidance through mentoring, I had to look for organizations that are already doing mentoring for people in the workforce. Unfortunately, I didn't find any. What I found were organizations that were focused on youth mentoring, and I believed that my strength is to help people in the workforce. And so that was when I had to consult with some people that I highly respected. And when both of them said, go do it, I'll be one of the mentors in the platform, then that really gave me the push to create the mentoring club. So that is something that you may want to reflect on as well. If you're driven to a certain mission, look for organizations that are already doing that, and maybe you can join them rather than starting your own. And then persist and resist. Focus on your vision and avoid temptations. There will always be things that come along that seem to be shiny objects that you might want to have, but recognize them for their value that you produce in the future, and try not to be distracted. And then just be aware of what are developing around what are the things developing around your environment, and then adapt wisely. So if you are going for your life's purpose, what is your top strategy that you could think of to go after your life's purpose? Uh, I'll request Albert to launch the poll on this one. Great, here you go. Okay. So early stage discernment is currently at 53%, 60%. Mm-hmm. All right. So some of you are already on your already on your path in your life's in facing your life's purpose, or going after your life's purpose. Um, all right. I think we can end the poll. Okay, is there still somebody? Okay, there you go. Okay, so Albert has shared it also. So it looks like the majority, 54%, are still in that discernment mode, which is a great start. And then 29% of you are already evaluating whether it's something that you would like to start or join an organization. And then about 17% are already on the path. So congratulations for those realizations. Um, and so the next question I have for you is, what does it take to go after what you want? Um, yes, I'm going to say what I believe is what it takes to go after what you want. I'd say it's courage. It's scary to go and really do something, start something on your own. But if you believe in yourself, you know yourself, it really gets the courage to go one step at a time, one day at a time, and then, one person's life at a time that you're able to impact. Um, I would call that courage. That is what it takes to go after what you want, whether it's a job, whether it's a career, whether it's your life's purpose. And so, by courage, you're not doing it blindly. You're actually planning, and then executing on your plan, on it, and then assessing the results so that you can determine, okay, am I on the right track? Do I need to change, pivot, whatever it is that you need to do to be able to address, eventually what is the ultimate vision that you're after, and keep keep experimenting, keep testing, and tweaking your plans. And I think Albert's list has been around for like 11 years. And so I'm sure Albert is also um, able to share with us some of those experiences where you have to continue the cycle of planning, execution, and then evaluation of what needs to happen next, to be continue with the mission, or to continue with the career, or to continue with the job. And then, so again, this is a time for reflection. We don't have to answer this. So what do famous people's life journeys teach us? Um, and uh, the summary again that I have, for this, is really, what are we after? And and how do examples of people's lives allow us to reflect on our own lives, where we're heading? And that's why, books, biographies are very useful. And then, of course, current developments, things that are happening. You would see, where the value system of people are playing into the work that they're doing, and you can get a sense of, um, what matters to you by your reaction or your assessment to the things that are happening around us. So it's not just people who have been recognized after they're gone, but it's also, role models that we have currently that will allow us to get more understanding about what matters to us. And so I'll ask the question again. And I know we're not the same set of people. I can see that some people have to leave. But I'd like to see again, based on what I've shared so far, has there been any change at all, in um, based on your assessment of where you are at now? Okay, we have 10 more people. Um, we're at 76%. We'll go with 80. All right. Okay, I think that's it, Albert. So I'll go ahead and end the poll. So there's been a little shift, although, as I said, you will not have the same people in the room now, since we started. But when we started, it was, life's purpose, was the highest, and then the middle was the career, and then, uh, and and then the third one was for the job. But now it looks like, people are, more into really establishing their expertise. So more of the career track, and then followed by a life's purpose, and then a job. Okay, so I'll go ahead and stop sharing. And so with that, so those are, some of the observations, experiences, and sharing that I have for you this afternoon. I would be happy to have some conversations going if that is something that we are allowed to do, Albert. But if you, and again, these are the people that, happy, joyful people that we have in the mentoring club, at least one group. So if you think that um, we could be helpful to you, then please go ahead and you can scan this QR code to visit our website. And I already provided my LinkedIn link in the chat, so I'd be happy to uh, answer now any questions that you may have and also receive feedback. And let me stop sharing.
All right, I don't see any questions, but somebody did say that they appreciated the presentation and it was good. Oh, they want you to put the last slide back up.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me just go there. Let me Zoom first. Share. There. Mm, and I'm guessing this one.
Yep.
Okay. And let me go ahead and look at the chat also. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I hope so
Yeah.
I'm glad we were able to get to those learning objectives. Thank you very much. I'm happy to help. Uh, all right, no questions?
All right. If there are no questions, thank you all for joining us today. This video was recorded and it'll be available on our YouTube. We're going to go ahead and share this to our YouTube channel when we're complete, and we will see you all soon at a future event. I'm going to go ahead and hit stop recording.